Let me tell you about a Saturday afternoon in 1963. I was in my shop working on a pair of Oxfords, and I looked out the window. There must have been 15 kids on the street, playing stickball, climbing on the fire escapes, chasing each other between parked cars. No adults anywhere. My own son Enzo was out there somewhere. He was 19 that year. But the younger kids, some of them couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. A woman walked into my shop, new to the neighborhood, just moved from somewhere in the Midwest. She looked out my window at those kids, and her face went pale. "Where are their parents?" she asked. I shrugged. Working, cooking, minding their business. But they could get hurt. I looked at her. They might. Then they'll learn something. She left without buying anything. Probably thought I was crazy. But here's the thing. I wasn't crazy. I was describing a world that made sense. A world where children were trusted to figure things out. Where boredom wasn't an emergency. Where scraped knees were education, not lawsuits. That world is gone now. And the people who grew up in it, the children of the 1960s, they carry something inside them that younger generations don't have. Something that was built into their brains during a window of development that will never open again. My name is Salvatore Benedetto. I watched that generation grow up. I raised 2 children in that era. I've spent decades observing what those years did to people, how it shaped them, what it gave them, what it cost them. And I want to talk about it. Because if you grew up in the 60s, you need to understand what you have. And if you didn't, you need to understand what you're missing. And maybe, just maybe, how to get some of it back. The first thing the 60s gave people, the ability to be bored. That sounds like an insult. It's not. It might be the most valuable psychological skill a human being can have. I watched my daughter Lucia, she was a teenager in the early 60s, come home from school on a Tuesday afternoon. No homework, no plans. She flopped on the couch and said, "Papa, I'm bored." You know what I said? Nothing. I kept working on the shoe in my hands. Didn't even look up. She lay there for maybe 20 minutes. Then she got up, went to her room, and started drawing. She drew for 3 hours, made these beautiful sketches of the neighborhood, the fire escapes, the old women sitting on stoops. Some of them were good enough to frame. That happened because she was bored, because nobody rescued her from the emptiness, because she had to fill the space herself. This is what boredom teaches. You are responsible for your own experience. The world doesn't owe you entertainment. The world doesn't owe you stimulation. If you're bored, that's your problem to solve. And solving it over and over, thousands of times throughout childhood, build something in your brain, a muscle, a reflex, the automatic knowledge that you can create something from nothing. Kids who grew up in the 60s, they had that muscle. They spent entire summers with nothing scheduled. No camps, no activities, no parents hovering with enrichment opportunities. Just time. Endless, unstructured time. And out of that time, they built things, invented games, created imaginary worlds, taught themselves skills nobody assigned them. So here's my question to you. When was the last time you were truly bored? Not bored between activities, not bored while scrolling on your phone, actually bored. Nothing to do, nothing to distract you, nothing but yourself and the empty hours. If you can't remember, that's a problem. Because boredom is where creativity lives. Boredom is where you discover what you actually want. Boredom is the space where your brain does its deepest work. Here's what I want you to try. This week, create 1 hour of genuine boredom for yourself. No phone, no television, no books, nothing. Just sit there. See what happens. See what your brain does when you stop feeding it constant stimulation. The 60s kids did this every day, and it built something in them that constant entertainment destroys. The second thing the 60s gave people: calibrated risk. Every child of the 1960s has scars. Not metaphorical scars, actual scars. From falling out of trees, from crashing bicycles, from doing stupid things that nobody stopped them from doing because nobody was watching. My son Enzo broke his arm in 1958 falling off a fence he had no business climbing. He was 14. You know what I did? I took him to the hospital, they set the bone, and I told him maybe next time he should think about whether the fence was worth it. I didn't sue anyone. I didn't demand that someone tear down the fence. I didn't launch a campaign to make the neighborhood safer. My son made a bad decision. He suffered the consequence, and he learned something about fences. This was normal. This was how everyone operated. And here's what it produced: adults who understand the difference between actual danger and manageable risk. This is crucial, so let me explain what I mean. When you grow up with padded corners and supervised play, and adults intervening every time something might go wrong, your brain never learns to assess risk properly. Everything feels equally dangerous because you've never experienced the difference. A tall ladder and a small step stool trigger the same anxiety because you've never fallen off either one. But when you grow up climbing trees that are too high, when you crash your bike going too fast, when you light firecrackers too close to your hand, you learn. Your nervous system calibrates. You develop an internal sense of, this is actually dangerous versus, this is scary but probably fine. The 60s kids have this. They can walk into uncertain situations and assess them accurately. They don't panic at every potential risk because they've experienced real risk and survived it. They know what actual danger feels like in their body, so they can distinguish it from ordinary discomfort. Here's something I've noticed. The people I know who grew up in the 60s, when a crisis hits, they handle it. They don't freeze. They don't spiral into anxiety. They just start solving the problem. That's not because they're braver than other people. It's because their brains were trained on 1,000 small risks. They learned through experience that most scary things are survivable, that you can fall down and get back up, that the world is not as fragile as anxious people think it is. So, here's my advice, especially for parents. Let your kids take some risks, not stupid risks, not genuinely dangerous risks, but some risks. Let them climb things. Let them go fast. Let them fail in ways that hurt a little but don't really harm. Their brains need it. They need to learn that the world is survivable. And the only way to learn that is to survive some things. The third thing the 60s gave people: the ability to sit with uncomfortable emotions. This one is hard to explain to anyone who grew up with a smartphone. Imagine you're 12 years old. It's 1965. Something bad happened at school. Someone said something cruel. You failed a test. The girl you liked laughed at you in the hallway. You come home with that hot, tight feeling in your chest. That shame, that hurt, that confusion. What do? You can't text your friends for validation. You can't scroll through social media to distract yourself. You can't watch endless videos until the feeling goes away. Your mom is on the phone with your aunt. The one phone, the landline, the cord stretched into the kitchen. Your dad won't be home for hours. Your siblings are outside somewhere. So you go to your room. You lie on your bed, and you just feel it. The hurt sits in your chest like a stone. You think about what happened. You replay it. You feel sorry for yourself. You get angry. You feel sad again. And then, after a while, maybe 20 minutes, maybe an hour, the feeling starts to fade. Not because anything changed, not because anyone comforted you, just because that's what emotions do. They pass. This is one of the most important things a human being can learn. Emotions are temporary. They feel permanent when you're in them. They feel like they'll last forever, but they don't. They peak and they fade like waves. And if you can learn to sit with them, to let them move through you without running away or numbing out, you develop something invaluable: emotional resilience. The 60s kids learned this by default. They had no choice. There was no escape from uncomfortable feelings. You just had to feel them. I watched my daughter Lucia go through heartbreak at 17. A boy she liked started dating her best friend. She came home devastated, red eyes, couldn't eat dinner. I didn't know what to say. I'm not good with words in those moments. So I just sat with her on the couch, not saying anything while she cried. After about an hour, she stopped crying. She took a deep breath. She said, "I'm going to be okay." And she was, not because I fixed anything, because she sat with the pain long enough to find the bottom of it. Here's what I want you to think about. When you feel something uncomfortable, what do you do? Do you reach for your phone? Do you pour a drink? Do you turn on the television? Do you find some way, any way, to not feel what you're feeling? Most people do. And every time you do that, you rob yourself of the chance to learn what the 60s kids knew. You can survive your own emotions. They won't kill you. They're just weather. So here's my challenge. The next time you feel something uncomfortable, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't distract yourself. Just feel it. Set a timer for 20 minutes and promise yourself you won't reach for any escape until the timer goes off. You might be surprised. The feeling might pass on its own, and you'll have taught your brain something important. I can handle this. I can handle anything. The fourth thing the 60s gave people: patience. God, people were patient back then. You wanted to watch your favorite show? You waited until it aired. Tuesday at 8 o'clock. That's when it was on. You missed it? Too bad. Maybe they'd rerun it in the summer. You wanted to hear a song? You waited by the radio, hoping the DJ would play it. Or you saved up your money, went to the record store, and bought the whole album for that one song. You wanted to know something? You went to the library. You looked it up in an encyclopedia. Or you just didn't know, and you lived with not knowing. I remember my son Enzo wanted to find out who won the World Series in 1947. This was around 1964. He asked me. I didn't know. He asked his teacher. She didn't know off the top of her head. He went to the library on Saturday and looked it up. It took him 3 days to answer a simple question. 3 days. Can you imagine? Now you can find out anything in 3 seconds. And that seems like an improvement. In many ways it is. But something got lost too. What got lost was the practice of waiting, the skill of patience, the ability to want something and not have it immediately and be okay with that. The 60s kids practiced patience constantly, every day, in 100 small ways. They wanted things they couldn't have yet, and they learned to tolerate the gap between desire and fulfillment. This matters more than you might think, because patience is connected to everything good in life. Patience is what lets you build a career instead of job hopping every time you're frustrated. Patience is what lets you stay in a relationship through the hard parts instead of leaving at the first conflict. Patience is what lets you save money instead of spending everything the moment you have it. The research is clear on this. People who can delay gratification have better outcomes in almost every area of life. Better relationships, better careers, better health, better happiness. And where does that ability come from? From practice, from spending your childhood waiting for things, from learning over and over that the wait is survivable. that good things are worth waiting for. So here's my question. Where in your life are you too impatient? Where are you demanding instant results when the thing actually takes time? Where are you giving up too early because you can't tolerate the gap between where you are and where you want to be? Here's something you can try. Pick one thing you want and deliberately wait longer for it. If you usually check your phone first thing in the morning, wait an hour. If you usually buy something the moment you want it, put it on a list and wait a week. If you usually binge watch a show, watch one episode and then stop. Train your patience muscle. The 60s kids did this without trying. You'll have to do it on purpose. The fifth thing the 60s gave people: self-reliance. And this is the one that ties everything together. When you can be bored and fill your own time, you don't need the world to entertain you. When you can take risks and survive them, you don't need the world to protect you. When you can feel your feelings without numbing out, you don't need the world to comfort you. When you can wait for things, you don't need the world to satisfy you instantly. What do you have left? A human being who can rely on themselves, who trusts their own capacity, who knows deep in their bones that they can handle whatever comes. This is the psychological signature of the 1960s generation. Not that they're perfect, they're not. Not that they have all the answers, they don't. But they have a fundamental confidence in their own capability that comes from a childhood of proving themselves capable. I watch these kids grow into adults. I watch them become my customers, then my friends, then the people who helped rebuild my shop when it burned down. And the thing that struck me over and over was how sturdy they were. Not hard, not cold, sturdy. Like furniture built from good wood. Like they could take weight and not break. That sturdiness came from somewhere. It came from a childhood that demanded something of them. That didn't rescue them from discomfort. That trusted them to figure things out. Now, I'm not saying the 60s were perfect. They weren't. Plenty of things were wrong back then. Prejudice, limitations, problems we're still working to fix. I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses. And I'm not saying everyone who grew up then turned out great. They didn't. Every generation has its failures. But I am saying that the particular conditions of that time, the freedom, the unstructured hours, the risk, the waiting, the boredom, they built something in people's brains that's getting rarer. And if you're someone who grew up in the 60s, I want you to understand that what you carry isn't ordinary. The ability to sit alone with your thoughts without panicking. The ability to walk into uncertainty without freezing. The ability to feel your feelings without running away. These are skills, valuable skills, and they came from a childhood that can't be replicated. You're not outdated, you're equipped. That independence that looks like coldness, that's competence. That comfort with silence, that's depth. That ability to wait, that's strength. I'm 106 years old. I didn't grow up in the 60s. I was already middle-aged by then. But I watched that generation come up. I raised children during those years. And I've spent the decades since observing what those years produced. The people who emerged from that era have something: a steadiness, a self-reliance, a quiet confidence that they can handle what life throws at them. And if you're younger, if you miss that window, you can still build some of these things. You can practice boredom. You can take calculated risks. You can sit with uncomfortable feelings. You can cultivate patience. It won't be automatic the way it was for them. You'll have to do it deliberately. But the brain can learn at any age. The muscles can be built. The question is whether you will. Arrivederci.